We are coming into exterior painting season, and people are diving inside and outside of their homes and adding color to their lives. And I wanted to bring on today my friend Pooji Shearer from Miller Paint, of course, that Northwest institution. Pooji, thanks for coming on Around the House Northwest today.
Thanks for having me, Eric. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I wanted to talk color with you today because, it's funny. A handful of years ago, we were in the world of gray, right? And everything seemed to be gray. Now, all of a sudden, over the last number of years, color is our new friend.
Yeah. Well, it still kind of feels like we're in the world of gray here in Portland today.
Well, that's our weather.
Like, when's it going to be sunny? So we can actually paint the outside of our houses. That would be great.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's just been a huge shift in the color world as far as people embracing color. I think a lot of it had to do with COVID. I mean, the amount of time that we were spending in our homes and just got sick of white walls, gray walls. It's like our worlds became really, really small. And so we were looking for inspiration within those four walls. And so I think we became, in a lot of ways, braver during COVID and wanted that inspiration piece, that joy that color can bring us, bringing that more into our daily lives. And color is a great way to do that.
It really is. What are the hot color trends right now that you're seeing? I mean, that's your world is color. So what are you seeing out there?
Well, there's actually quite a few different trends going on. I'll spend a little time talking about our color of the year this year, which is called Unity. And it's a warm terracotta color. So we're seeing that shift, like you mentioned, from cool grays and stark whites to neutrals that have more warmth to them, that connect us to natural materials, that connect us to the earth, that almost feel like they're giving us a hug when you enter into a space that's painted with those colors. So terracottas, warm beiges, soft peaches, those are the colors that we're really seeing start to replace the standard whites and grays in interiors. For exterior, people, like you said, are getting braver with color. So there's, a movement to see more intensity on an exterior. So really dark, moody colors are trending on exterior, and not just black, not your standard black, but we're looking at more complex colors. And what I mean by that is colors that feel like a black, but when you look at their formulation or their color makeup, they're a dark navy or a forest green or a gray brown are some of those colors that people are using to replace black on exteriors.
That's one of the funny things with color too, Pooji. And I've noticed this, that if you were to take a house and paint it that's in very much of a downtown urban core versus painting it the exact same color out in the woods someplace or out in a prairie, that color reacts so differently. And it could be on the exact same house facing the same direction.
Yep. I think that's what can make exterior color choosing so difficult, is that light and scale are really the two main things that affect exterior color, and also reflective light. So let's say you're in a forest and you're surrounded by a bunch of greenery and, pine trees or have you, that green reflective light is going to affect the color that's on the exterior of your home. Versus when you're in a downtown core, like you mentioned, if you're surrounded by concrete or parking lots or other high rises, you're not going to get that green reflective light. So it's, the green reflective light will really intensify and bring out any green that's in the color that's on your exterior, which sometimes in a natural setting can be great because you want it to blend into the landscape. And that's where, when you're going to paint your exterior, you really want to think, how do I want my home to look in its surroundings? So do you want it to blend in? If you want it to blend in, you'll choose colors from your garden that will be complementary. So take that garden and put it up on the exterior of your house. Or do you want it to stand out? And then you might get a little bit more adventurous with color and, choose brighter hues or lighter hues that you don't see when you go up and down your block.
Absolutely. And side note, make sure and ask your HOA if you have one about your colors so you don't paint your house twice.
Yeah, I really suggest
that. Oh, how many times have I seen that happen? And I'm happy I'm not an HOA because, a couple years ago when I painted my house black and went with the yellow door, it was such a bold statement in my neighborhood. And now there's a new house down the street that's 10 houses away that's got the same exact color going on their house. And I'm like, see, I'm not the only one out there.
Yeah, I know. And you chose one of our best blacks. It was Opal of Lorraine. It's just such a
Hmm.
beautiful, like if you are looking for a black that stays true, Opal of Lorraine is the color that I would say that it's not gonna shift that dramatically with light or scale or, and that can be hard to find because oftentimes if you look at a paint color from a teeny tiny chip, you don't recognize or see what the undertones are in that color. So we have one of our most popular exterior colors is called Midnight Magic. And when you it looks like black on a little teeny tiny chip, but when you put it up on a house, you can see the blue undertones that come out. So it looks like a really, really rich, deep navy, which is beautiful. And I love that color. But if you're expecting a true black, then your expectations it wouldn't meet your expectations, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I put about 9 colors on the side of my house trying to figure out which one I wanted to, and kind of like 12-inch, 24-inch spots just to see, because I've got lots of trees. And so that was my battle of, okay, I know this kind of green blue is going to shift on me. What's it going to actually do when it's dry and in the different lights? And man, as a designer, it played around a lot on me, and I made my color choice. I'm super happy with it. I'm in shade a lot, so the black color didn't really change things on my house as far as temperature wise, but all things you have to consider when you're looking at house colors.
Yeah. And you touched on something that is really important that we always suggest and recommend is to do a large swatch before you paint anything, even interior, because of all the reasons that we were talking about, especially the light shifting. And the size of swatch that you recommended is good. So at least 12 inches. We usually recommend, 2 foot by 2 foot swatch and put it on different sides of your house so you can look at it at different times of day in different contexts. You can stand across the street and look at it. You might have to live with that swatch for a while, but it's worth it. Or, you could paint it on a poster board or a piece of paper and move that around. But I personally feel like the substrate that's on your home that's got texture, if you have like cedar shake or maybe you have just a smooth hardy plank, that texture piece also can really affect color and the sheen as well. So we haven't really talked about sheen, but sheen is the finish that's on a paint, which is really important for exterior as well. And so if you have a home that has a lot of imperfections or a lot of texture, going with a higher sheen, you're going to start to see that texture more because the light's going to be reflected off of it. And so oftentimes that can really become a distraction. So we have a great sheen for exterior, which is called Velvet, which is just a step up from flat. It's got a slight side sheen to it. So it doesn't, from a side you can see a sheen, but when you stand back, it just looks flat and a lot of the imperfections on your house will really go away.
The color of the year, you guys are way far away from probably working on that color of the year, but it seems that color is here to stay moving forward because
I
it just
know.
keeps getting bolder, right?
I feel like we're like just at the beginning of this color revolution. It's
Mhm.
something that I'm seeing a lot is, not even just embracing color, but also pattern. So
Yeah.
wallpaper or hand painted stencil or murals like what's behind me, giving an interior a richness through pattern and color, I feel like is really becoming what it's a trend that we're seeing in interiors. And people are getting more adventurous with pairing wallpaper with a color on a trim. So instead
Yeah.
of, that's something that we're seeing a lot is trim being painted. So we're moving away from just a standard white or more traditional off white, and people are embracing colors, navy blue, beiges, golds, light blues. I mean, it runs the gamut. Green is very popular in interiors for wainscoting, for especially if you want to give a house that maybe doesn't have a lot of architectural charm. What you're seeing
Mhm.
is people adding that charm through crown molding or installing wainscoting, and then painting that a really rich color. So the combination of architectural detail and those elements with a really rich, beautiful color can add charm and character to a home.
Before we run out of time, we can't not talk about Miller Paint for a minute and what you guys are doing out there. Where's the best place to find you guys? Because you're all over the Northwest.
We're all over. We have 50 stores in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. We're celebrating our 133rd year this year of making paint in Portland, Oregon. And so we're very excited about that. The legacy of our founder, Ernest Miller, lives on through our amazing employees who are color experts that are trained. And our store level, our incredible products that are formulated for the Pacific Northwest climate. if our customers need help with color, we do offer help in store. And then we do online at millerpaint.com. You can schedule a color consultation with one of our local color experts. You can do a virtual consultation. You can have a consultant come to your home for both interior and exterior, because, even though we've given some tips about sort of what to look for when you're choosing exterior color here today, we know that it can be challenging, especially when you've got thousands of colors to choose from. And when light and scale come in the mix for exterior, and we know it's a big project, and it's a color combination that you're going to live with for decades. So you want to make the right choice.
Perfect. Pooji, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate what you guys are doing and what Miller Paint's doing down there to add a little color to our lives.
Thanks so much, Eric. It was great to talk to you.